Oh boy, we got something going on. Ah, we got her back. Alright, welcome back to the channel, everybody, and it's awesome that we have another folding chair of fun. So I was hopeful we'd get another one. So again, welcome back. My name's Jamie, and this is what we do. And we got some fun stuff today. So that bird behind me, we are going to tow her out here shortly and fire up that right-hand engine and double check for that fuel leak to make sure that that is completely been fixed, and go from there. We got some more work to do on the seats, and I got some really good news about the F-100, so we made some good progress with her, so stick around, that's coming up. And I looked at what the episode number for today is, and it's number 288, which is slightly ironic because I just picked up a new hobby last week, which also involves the number 88. Which is I'm starting to learn how to play piano. So I'm curious, how many of you guys actually know how to play piano? Comment below. I'm curious because I'm enjoying it so far. I'm about 10 days into this, and I'm really enjoying learning how to actually play. So with that aside, let's get to work. Look at those two J79s, oh yeah. That's normal. What you just saw there was that's a fuel vent for the tanks and the wings. The ones up on the fuselage there, that's the little T back on just underneath the vertical stabilizer in the back. But sometimes that happens, especially when the temperature changes. That's pretty normal to see a little bit of fuel seeping out of the wing vents there. Alright, here we are out on the main ramp. It's actually, we got something better in store. We're not just testing engine number 2 here, we're actually doing number 1, and we're just doing a full cycle, cycling all the flight controls, you know, getting the hydraulic fluid moving and everything like that. Stuff that we'd like to do on a regular basis as we approach this jet being fully operational again once we come out of this big maintenance cycle. Now, a question that I want to address involves these covers right behind me. So I got a lot of comments from the last time that we ran the engines of, why are the engine covers on? Well, let me show you, because these aren't covers, these are actually screens, and they're designed to keep debris from the intakes. Hey Justin. Well, you know what we should do? Yeah, so these are screens. And like I said, they just keep stuff from flying into the intakes and trashing an engine, because you don't want that. That's happened once in the history of this jet since we've owned it, and we picked up something off the runway and it ruined the motor. But yeah, just want to address that before we get this thing going.
If you're not one of the people that ends up doing something, I'm sorry, but we're not going to have 18 people under the jet. So if you're a spectator today, that's just how that's the brakes, basically.
Behind the yellow line.
Yeah, and if you're not involved, stay back. Obviously, Jared's going to be in the cockpit doing the running. We're going to be doing a double engine run. Going to be trying to make sure that the fuel leak is finally fixed for real this time. Fingers crossed. We are going to be doing full flight control checks and everything, so he can get some more reps on that. So we're going to be doing standard start. I will be on the main headset. I'll be out front. JP's going to be on the secondary headset. Justin, you're going to be underneath, swapping hoses, doing the normal thing like you normally do. Crisscross, you're going to be under there with him. You're going to be burping hydraulics and helping with the hoses. That is it for underneath the airplane. If I didn't just say your name, I'm sorry, you're not under the airplane today. JP, once we get everything done, you and I are going to get under there and take a look up under there, make sure everything looks good. If we are still leaking, we're going to really try to spot exactly what it is, so we can definitely address it. If it's not leaking, great. We're going to be leaving the flaps down so that we can scope those inboard leading edge flap actuators and see if we can identify. They're not leaking bad, but they are showing some fluid, and we want to see where. So if that's going to bite us on the road, we know about it. Normal safety protocols in place. Don't go in front of the intakes, even though we have the screens on. You need to be in the habit. Don't go up in the aux air doors. Don't go behind the airplane, please. Stay clear of the tail hook. Stay clear of any flight control surfaces.
Watch the bleed air.
Yeah, watch the bleed air. You hands out of the cockpit when anybody's under the airplane. And yeah, we should be good. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I'd like a run through if we can, just burping the hydraulics again. I got it.
Okay, you and I'll do that then before we start here.
Well, I was going to do that. I'll show you.
Okay, okay, good. All right, good deal.
Who's running dash 60?
That is the only thing I guess we need somebody to do.
I volunteer.
You're good on how to do it and everything?
You can run me through it, but it shouldn't be too hard.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, you're going to be staying too. So yeah, you guys can be doing that side of things.
We don't have crayons for this, though.
Yeah, that's right.
I may get hungry. I may eat one of the switches.
That's okay. That's okay. We know you can't run away too quick. So.
It's not the master. We need that.
But yeah, if you're not involved, stay back behind the yellow line. As normal, anybody sees anything, wave your hands around, do the old Team America secret signal, and we'll shut it down and see what's going on.
And we have the fire bottle.
We have a fire bottle. Yep.
Who's on the fire bottle?
Let's see. You know how to do the fire bottle? All right, you're on the fire bottle then.
Does everybody know the symbol for on fire?
Yep.
Figure 8.
Or if you really want the true signal, it's this.
We just run away and let Jared figure it out.
Yep.
That's the one I got one time. It's like, where the hell's he going?
Yep, exactly. That was, I had an EPU on an F-16 get set off down there one time, and that was, I looked up and everybody was like full speed running away, and I'm like, oh, I better keep up, I guess. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna stay with them. But yeah, all right, well, let's get the air hose blown out, let's get everything hooked up, and let's get it done.
All right, in from the editing room. So Will's talking with Jared right now. He just cleared Justin to go underneath the aircraft. Justin's going to go swap the air hose from the start cart from engine 2 over to engine number 1. Meanwhile, crew chief Al is underneath there doing some checks. And we have Crisscross right there as well. His task today is to go through and bleed all the hydraulic systems as part of a pre-flight. And right after startups, after you start each engine, you purge all 3 hydraulic systems of any entrapped air from the reservoirs. So that's what he's doing. He's just keeping an eye on things down there. All right, back out from underneath the airplane, we got the signal to crank up engine number 1. So air has just been applied to the engine. And Crisscross is down there also purging hydraulics. He is under the direction of Crew Chief Al right here. Will's keeping an eye on the overall show. And JP's back there keeping an eye on the clock, because we always time the engine starts to make sure they start within time limits, which is an important thing on these, is if they take too long to start, then we got to figure out what's going on. We just purged the utility hydraulic system there. He just cleared from underneath. Jared's keeping an eye on the instrument panel, checking out all the instruments, making sure the engines are looking good, nothing's overheating, and the speeds are coming up. And looks like air has been taken off, so the engine is self-sustaining at this point. We're doing some checks. The generators have taken over on the airplane, so we have already turned off the electrical power on the cart and just shut down this. So now we just have to listen to the Phantom. Justin's down there buttoning up the panels where the start hose went, and also the electrical. So here in a minute we're going to do some flight control checks. Doesn't this Phantom look amazing? Wish the wingtips were out, but that wasn't what we were planning on doing today. So Will has called for speed brakes out. Both speed brakes have come out from the bottoms of the wings there. And that's looking good. That was the second time they went up and down. And right now Jared's stirring the stick right there, cycling all the flight controls, including the rudder. I'm looking back at Will to see what his next command is going to be. He always uses hand signals too. That's one of the easiest ways that we can see what's going on. Flaps came down. What we are doing here is checking to make sure that the bleed air is being blown across the upper surface of the wing. My hand is in the air blast stream from these 3 tubes there at the wing root, or at the wing fold, I should say. Is an awful lot of air that comes off of each engine to do this. The purpose of that system is to blow air across the upper surface of the wing. It's called boundary layer control, and it helps prevent the wing from stalling early. It just helps keep the airflow smooth over the wing at high angles of attack, and that only happens when the flaps come down. And this is part of what makes an early Phantom such as ours is a D Delta model. It's also known as a hard wing Phantom because it has leading edge flaps instead of leading edge slats. So flaps came back down again. We're going to deviate slightly from our briefing. We're going to leave the flaps up on this cycle because we do plan on running the engine again later. So we're just checking out a few different things. Back at the tail, we're checking the aileron rudder interconnect. So it's a pilot assist for the rudder pedal, or for the rudder itself at certain phases of flight. When the system is activated, and it kicks the rudder over a little bit more. It helps the pilot out. It doesn't take over the rudder pedals or nothing like that, but when the flaps come down, you get a little bit of extra rudder to whichever side the main stick is deflected towards. So if you're banking to the left, you're going to get a little bit of left rudder. Alright, so now we're about to wander back, getting a little bit more cycling of the flight controls, trying to keep the hydraulic fluid moving, which is pretty important. We always like to do as much as we can anytime we run the engines, even with jet fuel is as expensive as it is right now. So cycling the trim actuators, and you get to see the horizontal stabilator pivoting up and down as Jared is cycling the trim. I'm just keeping an eye on that there. And now he's doing full stick aft and full stick forward, and just cycling the stabilator back and forth. Pretty amazing to see how much that thing moves. And then just cycling the rudder with his feet there. And yes, the drag chute door is popped open. We haven't climbed up on a ladder to close that yet. Will here is looking over the trailing edge ailerons and the spoilers. Just checking out, make sure everything's looking good there. That's also a little bit part of the aileron rudder interconnect system, again with the stick. He's just checking to make sure that the other wing is doing something similar. And moving back up forward, we're going to go check out the other side. So off we go. Yeah, if you're looking carefully up in the cockpit, you may or may not see some condensation fog. It's not smoke. It's actually kind of normal. That's part of the air conditioning system, and it's actually very humid today, so it's very visible. And I just noticed that Will just snagged his comm cord on the nose gear, so I'm just going in and clearing that out, giving him some extra slack if he needs it. And we're about to shut down engine number 1. We already shut down engine number 2. Jared has just throttled up the engine. We're doing some scavenging of the fuel system so it doesn't dump fuel whenever he brings the throttles to cut off. So with this, enjoy the sounds of this J79, and we'll get back to the video. Yeah, baby. It's a little toasty back here, but I love the smell of jet exhaust in the morning. Well, that was a very successful run. That was a good day. We always love making some noise with that, and then I'll get a better idea of what was going on with engine 2. I think we fixed it, but I want to talk to the guys first to make sure, because obviously I can't hear when it's running. But always a good day to make some noise with those J79s.
Another plane you can glide and you can still answer her, but at the very last,
All right, we're back at the hangars. We're just waiting to just push back into the hangar there. Well, just want to give you guys a quick update on the seats, other than the new folding chair of fun 2.0. If you look immediately behind it, about where my thumb is, you see that big round tube there. That's the catapult tube for the ejection seat. That's one of the first steps for the seat to leave the airplane is that catapult tube. Pull the handle, and we'll go over this later after everything's fully assembled. But yeah, that whenever you punch out of this jet, that extent, that disengages the seat, does a bunch of other crazy things on the seat, and that literally lifts the seat up out of the airplane after the canopies depart. It will lift the seat up out and above the airframe before the rocket motors on the bottom of the seat fire and the crew flies away from the aircraft on their seats. So kind of a neat, but yeah, that's the catapult tube. And in the back, all right, so back here in the back seats, you see the rest of this here. That is called the beams, and that's where the rest of the seat bolts onto. The parachute, the seat pan, the survival kit, the rocket assembly, everything else bolts onto the beams. Now, in an ejection, the catapult tube, like I showed you in the front cockpit, that stays in the airplane. The rest of this stuff departs the airplane alongside the canopies. In an ejection, that is. So yeah, this is going well. Again, this takes time, and it's tedious, and it's also somewhat dangerous because we're dealing with live pyrotechnic charges, and if you're not careful, could send you through the hangar roof, and nobody wants that. As ejection accidents typically are fatal. So a little dose of mortality there, but yeah, taking our time, doing it right, step by step, getting these nice and in there, and I'm getting interrupted by an airplane behind me somewhere. It's a Piper of some flavor, and it's got a nice 6-cylinder in it. Anyway, so that's where we are with the seats, and these will keep going as we move closer and closer to getting flying. All right, guys, she's safely back in the hangar, and one of the main reasons why we wanted to take her out and run her is right above my head, and that's that fuel flow transmitter that shows the pilot how much fuel is going through the engine core. Well, it's still got a slight bit of a leak, and we can't have any leaks there at all. So I think what we're looking at is new fittings for it. So that's what we're gonna go and pursue. So I'll get some more info for that next week. But yeah, unfortunately, she's still leaking slightly, but it's not a terrible leak, but it's one that we still need to address. Alrighty guys, that's all the fun for the F4 today, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I got an update on the F-100, so let me turn it over to Chris and Jared and the guys that were working on it earlier in the week. So here you go.
Okay, so here we are. Gear swing was done earlier, and so far it's looking like the new part is a successful fix. We also have Chris here, who's been leading the charge on most of the work here, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about what exactly it was that went wrong and what the contraption does. So, hey Chris.
So this here is the valve in question that prevented us from being able to go to Sun and Fun. It controls the sequencing of the landing gear and the landing gear doors. They all have to open and close in the proper time. So that is a 6-way solenoid operated hydraulic valve. The electric solenoids right here, they open and close, tell the gear to come up or down, and the gear doors to open and close at the proper time as well. And so when you select gear up, it tells the gear doors open, then the gear come up, then the gear doors close, and then when you get ready to land, you select gear down, it tells gear doors open, then the gear down, and then the gear to close. So it's all kind of a complicated valve, and there's different switches in the gear and the door that tell that valve what position they are in and when it is time to move. And then on the side there's a little lever. It also, for emergency extension of the landing gear, which we test as well, you pull a handle in the cockpit, and basically in NASA. Timing as always. When you pull the emergency gear release handle in the cockpit, basically it just disconnects all the solenoids from the whole system and just commands all the down locks to open, and the gear falls out, and there is a bottle that pushes the nose gear down into the lock position because it's obviously in the air fighting against the airstream. The main gear, they just kind of fall open, and you'll notice on the ground they won't extend all the way. That is actually normal. You go in and you can push them into the lock position on the ground. In the air, the procedure in the flight manual is to actually yaw the airplane back and forth and allow the airstream going over the main gear to actually push them the rest of the way open and into the locked position.
Right, and we're getting ready to try this again, just like a double check. We're going to swing the gear.
And look for a couple of little leaks here and there to see if we can't tighten some things up.
All right, cool. Well, that's next. Thanks, Chris.
All right, everybody, that was a fantastic day with the F4 and a good update on the F-100. And ooh, call me crazy, I think that's a J57 that I hear. Let's go check this out. Ooh. Stick around, guys. The DCS F-100 is coming.